What's up, guys? Eric Robinson and my good friend Eric Ozio here for this new episode of the Eric Squared Circle podcast. What's going on, buddy?
Not much, man. Just, hanging out, still waiting for this whole COVID thing to kind of go away
Are we
work-wise.
all?
So, yeah, I'm ready to get back to normalcy, but not too bad. Not too bad, all things considered.
That's good. You
Uh,
wearing your mask?
no, no, I don't wear a mask.
Come on.
Well, my
Come
mom
on.
has bandanas. I was thinking about looking like, X-Pac going to the grocery store and like have a top bandana and like one for my
Just for
face. So I'll just be like an eye slit
thing is,
and
yeah,
then
you just don't
all be
you don't have enough
bandana.
hair to do the X-Pac thing, man. I just feel like you
It's
need the
not like
long
I need
hair
the
to.
hair. No, no, no. Well, yeah, it would look
It's
better
just
with the hair, but like I just tie it off at the back and it just looks like a skull cap.
fair enough.
And if you put it on your face, I mean, I look like a bandit, like I was telling at your birthday. Like I can't help but make that stupid joke. I'm gonna go rob a bank every time I'm wearing that thing.
Jesus.
But yes, been good in terms of wrestling. I know that we want to talk about a few shows that had happened this past week on Wednesday
Yes.
night, the Wednesday Night Wars pay-per-views on cable television, basically. Fighter Fest Night 1 and the Great America Bash Night 1. We'll get into just the breakdown briefly of each of those, the best matches of that night, wrestling of the night, wrestler of the night, what we expect for Night 2 coming up here in 2 nights. Yeah, we're going to talk a little bit more main events in the
You doing
currently.
laundry there?
Yes, my laundry. Let me go get that because it'll keep buzzing. I'll be right
Okay,
back.
good call. No, I've already done
Gang
it.
laundry. But yes, anyways, as I was saying, two good shows this past week with Great American Bash and the Fighter Fest, and following up this coming Wednesday. Today is Monday, July 6th, 2020.
Yes.
We're talking wrestling here on the Eric Square Circle Show.
Yeah, and if you are new to our community, welcome. Subscribe on Anchor, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. If you like the video versions of shows, check us out on YouTube. Subscribe, turn on those notifications so you can see what it is that we're doing. And check out our archives, too, at basically everywhere that I just named. So let's get into it, man. Last week, night 1 of Great American Bash and Fighter Fest, probably the best overall night of wrestling as far as the Wednesday Night Wars goes. Over these past, actually, it's been almost a year since it started. So yeah, this is the best one in about all 9 months that they've done it. So yeah, without let's just get back into a quick recap here. You want to start with Great American Bash or Fighter Fest?
Well, let's start with which one I think was the winner.
And that would be
The Fighter Fest card. That's where I would start.
Okay.
Personally, my friend. But I want to leave it to you.
Oh, how kind of you.
How
kind of you.
I want you to just be happy. I want us all to be happy.
Well, first
My
things
name
first.
Is Ozio. Be happy. Sorry, did I interrupt you?
Is it my turn? Yeah, you did. Is it my turn yet?
Sure.
Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus defeated MJF and Wardlow. We both predicted this one here. MJF and Jungle Boy are going to be fighting over the AEW World title before we know it, and I absolutely can't wait. These guys are just pure electricity anytime they're in the ring together. Luchasaurus and Wardlow, just a couple of big beasts, and very physical, hard hitting between the two of them. It's definitely not over between these teams, but the focus very much is just going to be on that continued rivalry between Jungle Boy and MJF, and hopefully we'll see them stepping up and taking the TNT title challenge sooner rather than later.
Yeah, they're just so dirty. MJF is such a pompous little shrew. I feel about him.
Though.
Yeah, I mean it's funny. I love seeing him attack fans for just asking for simple things.
Oh, yeah.
Pretty solid match. I mean, I love how they can kind of do these sub feuds. Still, why Cody has this revenge set out to get against MJF eventually, but that's just pure enriching storytelling for us to be able to, bite into, and it'll be more more satisfying paid off when he's able to take out
And
MJF, and MJF has a promising future as a heel as well.
I mean, that's the thing, exactly, because we're and next time we see him, he's going to continue to claim that he's unbeaten just because he didn't take the pin in this match again. But it just shows you how shrewd he is, and what a grasp of ring psychology that he has for somebody that's only 24 years old. So it can't say enough good things about the guy, as much as you wanna despise him. But yeah, great showing by all four of these guys.
Two guys killing the game. Maxwell Jacob Friedman, Patrick Mahomes.
Oh god.
Hot. They're like the same person, but
Five.
one's like the baby.
One of them just made
$1
half $1 billion today.
Whoa.
I
That's
know.
That's continuous thing. That's a guarantee.
But that's 10 years. But that's so much money.
Let's say $250 million. He might get guaranteed.
Shout out to Lee Steinberg for working that deal out, because that is just some stupid. Oh gosh.
But in the
What a
end,
deal.
like, the
Good for
thing is,
him.
like, it could benefit them immensely. Like, it's almost like think of it. I hate to use this analogy, but people buy cartons of cigarettes because it's more fiscally advantaged to buy the bulk amount in that amount. But
Sure.
I feel like buying Patrick Mahomes and about as bulk as they can possibly buy him, they might extend him another 10 years after this contract, because
that is basically
at this point, that 10 years from now.
Yeah, I mean they're anticipating that he's going to be a chief for life at this point. So hopefully that works out.
We just wanted to say that because we just saw that on the Instagrams and the Twitters and all that. So I was wondering what the numbers are going to be, because I didn't think 10 years. I didn't think that would. I've never seen that before. Anyways,
that is asking for a lot.
Going back to Margo's stunt in the Jurassic Express defeating MJF and Wardlow, I do love to see Margo Stunt just get thrown around.
He's so good at it.
Whatever criticism he can take just for being 5'5" and just goofy as hell, still gets in there and takes the bumps and lays the wood when he needs to. So
he's this generation Spike Dudley.
Yeah, very solid match. And the involvement there. Did not expect it to be a clean finish or even a finish at all, really, the whole time, or even before it, because he doesn't seem to really like finishing matches. Yeah,
I mean, there was no reason to think that we weren't going to get a clean finish on this one, at least in my opinion, anyway. Just because, I mean, this is going to be huge for Jurassic Express when it comes to the tag team title chase as well. I mean, they've got a couple of teams in front of them, but if you just not having the rankings in front of me, I mean, if we're going to look at the top 3 teams right now that aren't Page and Omega, then Private Party, just because they're in line for it this upcoming Wednesday, and we'll come back to that in a second. Best Friends, and then Jurassic Express. If you ask me, as far as just based on the records they've got this year, who should be vying for the tag titles. So it'll be real interesting to see how soon they finally get that opportunity of theirs. And actually, this does bring me to something I do want to ask you, just because it's about time that people are going to start asking this question. I know that we're only 6 months or so into the reign of Page and Omega, but 6 months is it about time to consider a new team to take over the division, given how stacked it is right now?
I mean, I guess I'd preface it to ask who would be the most viable, and if that person or that team is ready to make the jump. And for me, I guess if I had to pick any other team, obviously it's the Young Bucks. So I feel with the Young Bucks and potentially FTR, I feel like that feud has to build, and whoever comes out of that feud unscathed, if you will challenge Omega and Page for the titles and potentially take it from them. I think it'll be between the Bucks and the FTR, and I think they'll again build some serious clout and build some serious immensity to this rivalry between them, this respect and this still hatred, it seems like still. But I mean, that's who I would say, like, the Bucks have to eventually win it, but do they actually take it from Omega? Like I mentioned to you when you were at your birthday last week, do you take it from Omega and Page directly, or do you take it from FTR after they took it from Page and Omega? And then Page and Omega take it back, or Page and Omega split up and then go on the singles, who knows?
So I guess what I want to know is, so you're saying that, at this point they're not getting stale yet, at least in your eyes, as far as Paige and Omega being tag team champions.
No, I mean, there's definitely something to Paige being a surly bastard all the time and being reluctant to really like celebrate or like show off the fact that he's a tag team
Yeah,
champion. But he's still, you know, he still is technical and is to the intensity in the ring is still something that you appreciate.
sure. Yeah, it's just, I feel like once you kind of hit the 6 month mark, you start to think about I mean, obviously they've had some incredible defenses, but just given how stacked the tag team division is in AEW, unlike their other major league counterparts, you can't help but wonder if it is time to transition it on to somebody. I mean, we know that the Bucks and that FTR are going to eventually clash for the tag team titles. I don't necessarily think that that one of those two teams has to take the titles off of Paige and Kenny to do it. But I mean, I think that it could be time to see what more, especially Kenny, can do as a single star, because this is a guy that everybody has waited years to see in the United States on a weekly basis on live television, and here we are with a chance with it. And there's not to say that this thing with Paige hasn't been great, but ready to see singles Kenny Omega again. I'll be honest with you.
So while we're on the topic, obviously, since we're talking Paige and Omega, they did retain their championship,
Yes,
like
they
we
did.
both predicted, against the
We
Best
did.
Friends. Even though I love
Yes.
the Best Friends, FTR
Got
came
it.
out and sat on the side railing or the upper walk-in path thing there. Watched the fight or the
Yes.
bout, and then obviously we see
Also,
later on.
Best Friends had the entrance of the night. Just gonna say that now. Trent's mom. That was seriously just the
Dropping them
coolest
off in the
thing that I've
minivan.
seen that
Yeah.
I've done in the white minivan, and you see Trent just trying to be all surly and whatnot, and she's like, "Come here." So, fine. It's good stuff. I mean, that's probably my favorite tag
I
team
wonder
in
if they got
AEW right now.
they got a juice box and some string cheese before they went and got. So they need their protein and
Duh.
energy for the match.
Gobert too.
Frozen Go-Gurts.
Eh,
Frozen.
nah, nah,
No, a pretty good, really good match. The Best Friends are excellent guys together. They work well together. Technical.
they are.
Really
And
good
then
match.
to have Orange
Expect.
Cassidy out at commentary with Le Champion
Oh, he got
during
pissed
this
at
match,
it.
nice little touch, and that's one thing that AEW can always count on is they know how to cross sell everything. So if there's another way they can tie another match or a feud into something kind of going on in the larger picture of of their programming, they always take that chance too, and I absolutely love it. Yeah, so that's another one we'll come to here in a second, just
I
because we
just
are going to need
love
your predictions. But
another reason to love Chris Jericho. He freaks out at someone who's supposed to be the chillest dude in professional wrestling probably right now. Just so chill. You put a little ice in that orange, Cassidy, you get a hell of a drink. You put a little extra champagne in there. That's
Oh
one
man,
great sippy cup. Yeah, I
I'm
just think it's
surprised that nobody
hilarious.
has.
He gets
I'm
freaks
surprised
out
that
and
nobody has come up with that yet, though. Nobody
what
has come up with some sort of mimosa concept, because you've got a little bit of the bubbly taken on the freshly squeezed.
orange mimosa. They only want it to be two words though, like maybe like mimosa Cassidy.
The mimosa bowl, nah.
Mimosa
Mimosa pitcher.
Cassidiosa. Orange Cassidy.
Yeah.
No, I love it. His constant hatred for Orange Cassidy is just
It's
it's
good
so
stuff.
it makes no sense, but it's perfect and I love it.
For
I
sure.
can't wait for their match on Wednesday night. Uh Honestly, I have no idea who I'm going to pick to win that match. And we'll talk later in the show about potential spoilers coming all over the internet, and we're going to avoid them like the plague.
Yeah.
But again, I don't know who to say in that match. It's been built up so perfectly. But this
Well,
match,
you've only got like 20 more minutes to figure it out, because it's gonna be about time for our predictions here. So
oh boy,
we both I mean, I don't know the exact math, but we both could use the wins this week. So
but yeah, no, the
yeah,
Hangman and Kenny. versus the Best Friends. Solid, excellent main event. Look forward to their next match. Kenny Omega and Hangman Page versus Private Party. Private Party did defeat Santana and Ortiz, and I figure we should continue our tag team.
Just lateral, yeah. I mean that, man.
The tag team division,
tag team wrestling is just
better than anything in WWE right now.
Yeah.
NXT is decent, but they're not up to the caliber of it.
AEW's tag team division is better than WWE's heavyweight division.
Well, I think that's a big reason why AEW, at least specifically against NXT, is having more success, because their tag team division is more riled up and fun and deep. When NXT, they have the women's tag team championship people. Obviously, the women go to different brands. But again, it's even the one tag team division in AEW is better than anything composited in WWE, period. You can't argue.
Yeah.
So that's a big reason why I think the ratings war is going in the favor of AEW right now. They need to keep it up.
However, big picture, yes, they've had the edge. However, NXT won the night last week. And we'll get to why in a second.
I thought we both agreed that Fyter Fest it earlier.
No, but as far as the ratings, NXT won the night. As far as the head-to-head ratings.
How much?
I don't know the exact numbers. I just know that they won. And we'll get to at least my thoughts on it in a second. I know that I watched both full cards. But yeah, elsewhere in AEW, I'm going to go right into this because I enjoyed this match a lot more than I thought that I would. Hikaru Shida defeated Penelope Ford in the women's world title match. This is probably the best I've seen Penelope Ford look in her entire time in AEW. I mean, to keep up, especially with Shida, hats off to her. Kip played his role perfectly. Aubrey Edwards, giving him Das Boot to kick off the match. There was just a lot to like about this. At this point,
a lot of knees, and that's never fun. You don't want to take a knee. That hurts.
Not from Shida. No.
Not from Shida. Shida.
But again, she's just going to continue to dominate that division, and then Dr. Britt Baker is going to come along and snap that title right up, man.
And I like how Sabian got his ass kicked by Shida.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, dude, get the hell out of here, man. She'll kick your ass every day of the week, twice on Sunday.
I think it'll only be a matter of time before we see Hikaru Shida taking on Kip Sabian. But that's just me.
I mean, it seems not the perfect matchup for Kip Sabian. I don't think he's ready for any actual men's division matches, singles yet. Not that anything's less about women at all. It's just if you can't, I mean, you get your ass.
Well, he's been wrestling for them. It's just that's at least in my
Penelope Ford is his defender. It seems like she defends him.
That is true. I'm just saying that eventually I do want to see, that. And maybe that's just because I got the Rhea Ripley match on the brain. But
yeah, I mean, well, when you have Ford, someone that probably have one of their best matches ever in their career, arguably. So it's going to be pretty good. And it was
I would say,
really well-graded match.
Yeah, at least as far as their AEW career goes, that was a great match.
Absolutely. We can talk now on another singles match that occurred, another championship match that occurred, the TNT championship match. Jake Hager, the challenger, faced off against Cody. We all know Cody, the general manager of AEW and the TNT champion, first ever
Executive Vice President.
Whatever. They're all the same to me.
There's a difference.
Yeah, there's different words.
You tell Cody they're all the same thing. Hey, Cody, he thinks they're all the same thing. Your move.
I don't think he'll get that upset about it. No, but it was a match, again, like we saw in the press conference. Jake Hager's wifey getting involved, throwing water on Cody, smacking him in the match, trying to refs not stopping a damn thing. But we've come to see that from AEW, and it's it has its high points. We like to see a little bit of craziness, not too much rigidness.
It's called referee's discretion for a reason, bud.
Yeah. You like a balance. you like a balance there though
Just
sometimes.
saying.
But I like the cutaways. I like the lookaways. That it's an art form to be able to time that up correctly. Um, yeah, Jake Hager again, classic brutal intensity MMA guy. He's gonna, always brings the hammer down, always brings the club. But at the end of the day, Cody still is able to come away with a consistent, pretty standard wrestling match that you'd see to come from him in a submission. So I love it.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
don't see him losing this championship anytime soon, though. Well, obviously.
Cody's king of the mid card. There's no reason there's absolutely no reason to take this title off of him anytime soon. If we're just seeing what he has done to implement the open challenges and give everybody opportunity and continue to put on these clinics week after week after week after week. That's what you want out of babyface, especially one that is the face of your company. I mean, Cody is essentially the face of AEW at this point. At least in my mind. Fight me, change my mind. So it's great to see what he will do for this championship, knowing that he can't contend for the world championship. At least never say never in wrestling,
No,
but for
absolutely not.
now, the TNT championship match is going to have a big fight feel, just because Cody's in them. So, just looking at the rank. So here are the top 5 we've got right now in AEW as of last Wednesday.
For
So
the
I'm not sure
overall rankings?
Yes, I'm looking at their rankings. I'm on AEW's website right now. Whether this is before or after Fyter Fest, I can't necessarily tell. But right now, MJF, Brian Cage, Lance Archer, Brody Lee, and Chris Jericho are the top 5 in the men's division as we sit here right now. So, I mean, the
Jericho's
matches.
the next challenger, you think? Since he is a member of the Inner Circle, he's taking on the entire Inner Circle.
But Jericho's number 5 at this point in time right now. If we're gonna make rankings a factor, and that's why AEW is doing them, because they do matter. Jericho is in no position to be challenging for this title again anytime soon.
MJF though, being
7-0.
Are they gonna build into that again? Maybe.
Moxley and MJF, that could be fun.
Oh yeah. But that is the entire card of Fyter Fest Night 1. We look forward to Fyter Fest Night 2. Again, we have seen that someone has leaked. Someone on the AEW roster and the NXT roster apparently have leaked the actual results of the pre-recording shows of Great American Bash.
It's only the
and
main
Fyter
event
Fest
for
Night
NXT.
2. I think it's a lot of the card. Obviously, they must have recorded these shows yesterday, maybe partly today.
Yeah.
But we're going to keep that off of our show. We don't do that crap. Spoilers will ruin anything in terms of a pay-per-view. And we wanted to focus on what's going to happen on Wednesday night for Fyter Fest. If we want to do quick predictions here for Fyter Fest Night 2 before we start talking about the GAB.
Let's do it for sure. So first match up, we have Paige and Kenny taking on Private Party for the AEW Tag Team titles. Something else I did want to mention, I don't know if you caught this during one of Paige's interviews at the end, but he did refer to the tag team titles as his tag team titles. So
that sounds like something he would say.
Again,
the reluctant, self-entitlement, self-absorbment. It's not the alcohol. It's just maybe the alcohol subsides it a little bit,
This just has me really excited for a heel Hangman Page. It's just a matter of when.
Oh, I feel like he's like bursting at the seams. He wants to
Oh yeah.
I don't know if it's gonna be a full Seth Rollins type turnaround on the Elite, but it's gonna be something.
Okay, well if we're gonna go down this rabbit hole, then we need to talk about that, because as it stands, I mean, there are 5 members of the Elite. However, you don't see Cody has kind of just often is doing his thing as a single star. I mean, they've even referenced it on being the Elite. Like, are you even in the Elite anymore? We're at a funeral.
Well, at the same time, I'm hearing rumors of Mr. Marty Scurll potentially coming into the fold again. Maybe that pushes Hangman out the door a little bit. Maybe it just gives him a reason to get even more pissed and push him off the edge,
I have no reason to get excited about that because yeah, we've seen Marty on being the elite that one time, but he signed a big money deal with Ring of Honor. I mean,
Maybe not
I
Marty Squirrel, but maybe somebody else can come in and take that spot and push Hangman out, or he uses that as an excuse to push himself out.
I mean, do we really need another member of the elite right now?
That's
Like
what I'm saying. He would
if
push him out of the elite. He would be Hangman. He would just be Hangman.
like he would just basically that. So, are you saying someone should push him out, or are you saying he just needs to dip
I'm
on
just
his
saying
own?
he overthinks it. He's just going to drink too much. He's going to overthink everything and think that they all want him gone. They want him replaced, but in reality, it's all in his head. And then he's going to become the heel. He will turn into the heel that he wants to become so bad. In some way, I don't know.
I mean, that's one. I mean, yeah, that's one. That's one way of looking at it.
Yes. Anyways, I think that Hangman and Kenny will win. That's not happening at least anytime this summer, in my opinion. Not before All In or All Out, whatever it is this year.
Yeah, I gotta agree. Paige and Kenny walk away with the titles here. I mean, I love Private Party though. It'll be a great match, regardless. So everybody is going to look like $1,000,000 in what will presumably, hopefully, be another, main event. Oh, well, you got Jericho and Cassidy, but we'll come back to that one in a second. Yeah, so I think Paige and Kenny win this one, but I think that split is a little bit further teased. I don't think that our tag team champions, as we know them currently, are long for this world.
Nope.
Next up, we have Le Champion, Chris Jericho taking
I thought
on
you
Fresh
saved
and
that one to
Squeezed.
the end. I thought you were going to save that one to the end. I thought that was the main event. I told you that one's going to be the toughest one for me to pick.
But
I love both these guys.
So do you need another second? Is that basically what you're asking for?
A couple minutes, yeah. I need time. I need time to select that match because I love both those guys.
What am I, hourly? Okay. Next up, we got Lance Archer with Jake the Snake taking on the bad boy, Joey Janela. Lance Archer and Jake Roberts, just absolute studs. They magic together, to have Jake have this kind of second coming of his career and to be able to channel a guy like Archer and give him somebody that can give him a little bit more of a presence than we would probably see from himself. It just works.
You have to see some good mouthpieces on AEW, and that's something that you like to see from former WWE guys, former Hall of Famers. Taz isn't a Hall of Famer, I don't think, but he still
should be, but
well renowned within the wrestling industry. Having these guys really talking. And Brian Cage and Lance Archer aren't like a Lesnar, in my opinion. Like Lesnar just refused to talk. He just didn't really want to talk, and he's not the best on the mic. But Lesnar had moments on the mic. I mean, he was just intense. But I think like it in the same essence, it builds up that intensity for when they do talk. It's good shit. It's good because they're actually good on the mic. Like Brian Cage is decent on the mic. Lance Archer is decent on the mic. So it builds more into that. When they finally do cut their promos, they're more meaningful.
Yeah, no, I'd definitely agree with that. To your point as far as Brock, I think that we've seen him do less talking since they've kind of repackaged him into just this attraction where he and Heyman are just a package, deal. Luckily with Archer, and then we'll just say Brian Cage too, just because they've basically kind of got the same thing going on right now as far as legendary talkers that are backing them up.
Cody does too with Arn Anderson in a lot of ways.
I mean, yeah, he's got that awesome badass manager. The difference is Cody doesn't need Arn to talk for him. That's the difference between Cody and then Archer and Cage, just because when you got the chance to have, like, if I had a chance to have Jake Roberts talking for me, like absolutely, I'm taking that and I'm running with it. And the vignettes they're doing right now are so unique too that it's hard not to be excited about this. I'm gonna go ahead and give my prediction now. Lance Archer wins this. Joey Janela's gonna
he's just too.
I
feel like
sell around all day for him, but I don't see Joey walking away with the win here.
No, I just think that not necessarily age difference, maybe the experience difference. Joey Janela's it's not as beneficial for him to win. Maybe for him, he kind of need to build that, that respect up in a way.
And he's not on Dynamite every week, like we would see Archer or Cage. I mean, it's just going to be tough to think that Joey Janela, even if he did have the help of his fellow Jersey boy Sonny Kiss, to at least try to even the odds a little bit. It ain't happening, So Lance Archer for the win here. I mean, again, this is only going to help him move up the ranks here, and I'm sure that he's gunning for Cody again.
He is, I'm sure.
Or Mox at this point too, Speaking of Moxley,
Fight for the Fallen.
Yes. So the AEW World Championship match between Brian Cage and Jon Moxley has been moved to next week's Fight for the Fallen due to his wife, Renee Young, testing positive for COVID-19. Moxley himself has tested negative on a couple of different occasions, but, just to play it safe, which, kudos on him. They don't run a sloppy shop.
And it's not sloppy, according to Taz. Taz was calling out just some random promotion. He didn't say specifically a name. Right. But we don't run a sloppy shop here at AEW. You stay home. But even though he said that, he was basically criticizing the corporation and praising AEW, he was still ridiculing Moxley for doing it. It's just genius.
It worked. Yeah.
It's so hypocritical and double entendre, but it's perfect. It's wrestling, man. It's wrestling.
Yeah, I mean, anytime that you can get a chance to have art imitate life, take it and run with it, because it adds that additional element of suspending disbelief, as opposed to WWE, who, will forbid their talent from speaking about, whether they've been tested or if they're positive or if they're negative or anything like that. I mean, it's everybody's going through the same thing right now. So there's no reason to just avoid stating the obvious. Like, we know why you're distanced. We know why you're wearing masks. Like, there's nothing wrong with saying COVID on TV. If you ask me anyway, it kind of humanizes it a little bit, but then again, Vince McMahon is not a human being. So here we are. But I really did enjoy that pot shot that Taz took last week, just because it was too fresh in everybody's minds not to think about it. I mean, we know why Moxley's not there. Like, everybody's thinking it, and for WWE to have had the response to COVID that they did, as far as waiting for something to happen before implementing testing, from what everybody has been reporting, and then only taking it up after somebody's contracted it. I mean, it's irresponsible. But they seem to be trying to right the ship now.
We'll see.
Yeah. So next up on night 2 of Fyter Fest, we've got FTR and the Young Bucks taking on Butcher, Blade, Ray Phoenix, and Pentagon Jr. Who you got, buddy?
I feel like I haven't seen Phoenix and Pentagon much on Wednesday Night Dynamite the last month or two, maybe. They consistently have given me like some of the most entertaining matches I've ever watched on, PWG, on Ring of Honor when they've appeared here and there, obviously on AEW, and then New Japan. Just such fantastic matches. So I expect this to be quite good. The spots, it's gonna be spot fest all over the place. I do expect the Butcher and the Blade and Ray Phoenix and Pentagon to lose to FTR, but I think it's going to be a strain match because FTR and the Bucks might disagree on things, but they'll compilate, they'll fumble and bumble their way to a win, in my opinion. We're still having some like animosity towards each other, but fiery respect.
So I think I agree with you as far as FTR and Young Bucks, walking away with the win here. But I would be a little bit more willing to believe that, they have one solid. There's at least one moment that they kind of come together, because everybody has wanted to see these guys not only go against each other, but team up in a situation like this. That you got to have that big babyface win, and they're just at least having that mutual respect for each other, at least in this moment. Whether that lasts is another story. Whether we see Paige or Kenny come out and make an encore appearance based on, the positioning of these matches on the card. I don't see what. Yeah.
Are you done? Sorry, I have a sub prediction that we could add into it, because if we again agree to a lot of these matches, which we've had again, I have
See,
a
we're gonna
sub
need a
prediction.
couple. We are gonna need a couple of these just because these will eventually be tiebreakers for us.
Who will take the pin for that team? In my opinion, will be the Blade. Will take the pin.
See, that's not a fair question because I don't know how to tell them apart. I don't know who's who.
Oh,
But,
Butcher's the one with the big burly like goatee beard. The Blade's the smaller guy, and then you know who Pentagon and Phoenix are.
Well, duh. But
I just don't
yeah,
think
no,
Pentagon and Phoenix.
I don't.
Win.
Yeah, no, I agree. I'll go Butcher just because sub prediction we need a tiebreaker. So yeah, I'll say Butcher takes the W here.
You're gonna
Butch,
lose.
please.
I'm coming for you. I'm gonna kick your ass. Then I'm gonna go home, drink a margarita, drink a beer, have another beer, a shot of whiskey, another margarita, and a Bloody Mary. Sorry, I saw this funny video over the weekend, 4th of July. This guy literally did all this
as Stone Cold was saying them in his speech. It looked really painful. Not gonna lie. Anyway,
that'll happen.
Match, hit me.
So we do have one more. This is a very tag team. This is a very tag team heavy card Wednesday night. So we have a 6-man tag match.
Once we lost Brian Cage and John Moxley, they had to fill up
something, right?
Yeah. So we've got SCU taking on the Dark Order, Brody Lee, Stu Grayson, and Colt Cabana. Boom, boom. Colt Cabana. Boom, boom.
Colt Cabana. Boom, boom.
Yeah.
Colt Cabana. Yep.
Give me SCU.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to. Yeah. I mean,
like
Colt Cabana.
So you know what? I think that it's time for us to get a little honest on the Dark Order here.
It's time. Segment idea. Time to. What's it? Time to get honest. Time to get real.
Yeah.
Time to get real. It's not fun when you're being honest. We keep it real here on the Eric Squared Circle show.
We do.
Get real for us, Eric.
We do. Yeah, Dark Order. I don't get it. Don't really care for it. Again, I know it's not their fault dealing with the Rona. I know that they've got a couple of guys in Canada right now. But it just seems like the concept for these characters in this story has been just snake bitten from the start. And if you ask me, I think it's kind of time to pull the plug on it. You know, I did like the intrigue of, okay, who's going to be the Exalted one? Like, I was super excited for that because we knew all of these people that it could potentially be. And, you know, while I thought that it would be Matt Hardy, I have no problem with it being Brody Lee. It's just, this has gone from like a, you know, zany cult leader to a generic Vince wannabe to cult leader by night or day. I mean, I don't know. I just don't get it. I'm not a fan of it. And, you know, who knows? Maybe Colt Cabana will make it a little bit.
Well, I
don't know. I don't even know why he's part of it either.
I think of the Dark
Order. Okay, work with me on this one. The Dark Order. The name. I'm a humongous, gigantic, dorkish Marvel fan. Like, I like the comic books. They're good. I love the movies. I'm obsessed with them. Thanos' crew was called the Dark Order. Okay? Thanos, big boss, wants to destroy the universe. His little, you know, subordinates are each very different, very unique, and very powerful. There's no uniqueness in anything that's going on. Brody Lee is the most unique thing about the Dark Order, and I'm sorry to say he's not that unique. But I like Brody Lee. I think he's a dedicated wrestler, very hardworking, and I think there's other gimmicks that will work for him. I'm not saying he needs to go back to a Wyatt family kind of situation, but there's not any uniqueness or any extraordinary parts of this. All your characters within the Dark Order don't stand out to anybody. They're just minions, and that's boring. The boring people. And
yeah, no, it sucks.
I don't know how you pull the plug on it, but yeah, it's just not doing it for. And with nobody in the stands to really, you know, experience them going around and them trying to like convert people, it's not. Doesn't really. I think that's a big reason why it didn't work as well.
Yeah, I will say that I did like on BT last week the run in between Brody and Paige, where Paige was like, "Yeah, I signed up, nobody called me back, but hey, it's cool. I was just going through a rough time in my life."
I could have
And
used some friends.
Brody flipping out. It seems like they would try to go after the bigger names to try to convert here, but if if Colt Cabana is the way that they want to go, and
I mean, that's a good start, I guess.
weird.
He doesn't really. It's like again, I think Point Break's a great movie, but putting Keanu Reeves in that role as an FBI agent, surfs up, bro. And I don't imagine an FBI agent surfing it up, bro. And I don't imagine Colt Cabana in something called the Dark Order. It just doesn't fit.
Yeah. I mean,
They're
to
thinking
go
the
from
rightness, the uniqueness of people being in the Dark Order, but it doesn't fit. He doesn't.
to go from being a pain in the ass to Kenny Omega to member of the Dark Order just seems like a real jump in the shark kind of moment there. But
Well, for wrestling,
what do I
just
know?
get
I'm
rid of
not
him.
writing it.
I mean, as long as there was ever a League of Nations, you can always fix something and take care of what needs to be done for those specific wrestlers and get different gimmicks for them. But no, I fully expect the SU to win. Could be a good match. It's going to be a tag team heavy night. That
For
comes
sure.
to our main event.
Are you ready?
The freshliest squeezed of Cassidy's. The orangiest of Cassidy's. Nothing rhymes with orange, but Cassidy, bro. Versus my favorite wrestler of all time, Le Champion, Chris Jericho. This match has been built up better than anything else in wrestling right now, in my opinion, and it is for nothing. And Cassidy was not even considered a mainline in-ring guy, but he's just so. It's like everyone loves him, yet there's nobody in the stands to like people go nuts for Cassidy even before all this went down. This was 3-4 months ago. So
the thing is, just wait until we find ourselves in a world where crowds are back in wrestling. I mean, people are gonna go absolutely banana.
What's your prediction? I want yours first.
Well, call me crazy, but I think that OC gets the win here.
I was actually thinking of picking Orange Cassidy as well.
I've been watching a lot of old Jericho this past weekend. I relived the feud with Shawn Michaels from 2008 and just kind of watching everything that this evolution of Chris Jericho that kind of started within like the last 10-12 years. And as great as he is, he's got a mind for this business, and ring psychology be damned. I think that he's gonna want to do the favor for OC here. I mean, a win like this for Orange Cassidy, as great as he is, he's got a mind for this business, and ring psychology be damned. I think that he's gonna want to do the favor for OC here. I mean, a win like this for Orange Cassidy, coupled with a great looking loss by Best Friends, and that team is just untouchable. Right now, if you ask me, and I think that we kind of need to, and I think that a win like this for Orange Cassidy helps give him a little bit more of a legitimacy, because it is very easy for a gimmick like his to go from over like Rover because he's himself to disappointing comedy act very quickly.
A win for Cassidy could also propel a strong feud between the Inner Circle and the Best Friends, because then you'll have 3 members of the Best Friends already, and then 5 members of the Inner Circle. You can easily have 1 or 2 people just come in, and Young Bucks come in and help them, or FTR,
Private Party,
Jersey
or
Boys,
any
or
one
whoever,
of the
come in and help them just here and there. But you could definitely see a solid feud there with Santana Ortiz versus the Best Friends, with Jericho obviously losing to Cassidy, and that's going to drive him absolutely insane. I think
without a doubt,
that could insane Jericho, insane, and the membrane Jericho could be the best thing for AEW Dynamite television.
For sure, for sure. And and that's a good point too, as far as kind of transitioning Inner Circle into doing something else, because I think at this point in time right now, you've done all that you can with the elite. Unless and until we are able to have wrestling in arenas with fans again, and you can go back to do blood and guts, I don't really think that there's anything else you need to do between elite and Inner Circle because of what we already saw at Stadium Stampede. So to see them kind of move on and see Jericho work with a guy like Orange Cassidy, it's absolutely crazy, I think, for us to predict that Orange Cassidy is going to walk away with the win here, but sometimes you got to get a little crazy in life, and I think that OC, it's not inconceivable that OC could get the win here. You look perplexed.
Sorry, no, I was just, you sent me something. I was looking at it.
Did I send you something?
Yeah, I mean, something was sent to me by an Eric Robinson. I don't know if that was you. Could be any other Eric Robinson.
How many Eric Robinsons do you know?
None, but that doesn't mean they won't contact me. I don't know. I don't know what help, other Erics stick with other Erics, ERIC specifically. Yeah, I'm excited for the show on Wednesday. We will give Fallout for the show and talk about that. Now we want to talk about the GAB.
Great American Bash.
What happened last Wednesday with Great American Bash.
First show in several months to have some sort of pyrotechnic, so I was real excited.
Oh, it was great.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Had some excellent female matches, that's for sure.
Good Lord.
Women's matches.
Yeah, so we had the Fatal 4-Way #1 contendership for the Women's Championship. This was an elimination match between Candice LeRae, Tegan Nox, Dakota Kai, and Mia Yim. I am very, very, very excited for this new crop of talent starting to take over the women's division at this point, because it was tough when you lose the quantity of talent that they had been doing, as far as for every major pay-per-view they could get somebody brought up. It was tough to kind of see where things were going to go as far as who's going to take on Io Shirai. But I've just been absolutely blown away by Tegan Nox and Dakota Kai, and how they've gone from curtain jerkers to here they are competing on a very big stage such as Great American Bash, and doing it in a way that would, absolutely incredible. To see Dakota Kai transition a Canadian destroyer into a backstabber and call it the chiropractor, I flipped my shit watching that. The only problem I really had with this match is that Candice LeRae was eliminated first, and it was like within the first 6 or 7 minutes of this match, and I just think that is so disappointing, because as excited as I am for Tegan Nox to get this opportunity at Io Shirai, Candice LeRae, I think I think she should have at least ended up as one of the final two here. Just because we've seen Mia Yim challenge for the title, I'm not necessarily ready to see Nox. She's not there quite yet, but this year I could see it. I just think that is something that Candice LeRae should have had first and foremost. But that's just me. Either way, thoroughly impressed by this match. Hats off to Tegan Nox.
Ability to come off the rope, high flying, see the top rope, Sension. So it's like, they're very well trained, clearly, down there at the Performance Center, on the NXT ranks. And I look forward to Candice LeRae getting her opportunity after seeing her take that, super kick to the face back in the PWG days. Like, she definitely deserves her chance. She's a program guy. She'll get her chance.
Yeah, and the thing is, as disappointing as it is that she didn't win, she's going to be in another high-profile match here next week, and we'll get to that when we, cover our predictions here. But yeah, moving on, Timothy Thatcher defeated Oney Lorcan. This match was everything that I predicted that it was going to be last week and more. It was technical, it was hard-hitting.
Suplex after suplex.
I am all in on Timothy Thatcher now, and while I don't know who's going to win on Wednesday between Cole and Keith Lee, Thatcher needs to find himself in line for the North American title sooner rather than later here, just based on this showing and then what he was able to do with Matt Riddle last month. I mean, the Fujiwara armbar to end it. Ooh, what a match! I
love submission finishes.
Yeah, for sure.
Another female match that was on the NXT Great American Bash show last Wednesday. Rhea Ripley defeating Aaliyah and Robert Stone in a handicap match.
Yep,
something right there. She's definitely needing her momentum for her after that loss to Charlotte some months ago for the NXT title, and starting to build it back up. Hopefully, I'd like to think so as well with that match.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like a weird rivalry for somebody that was in a high profile match and making history at WrestleMania just 3 months ago. And that's not any disrespect to Aaliyah or Robert Stone. It's just Rhea Ripley, it can do so much more. I think I don't know. I mean, I would like to see her back firmly in the main event spotlight. Io Shirai is a fantastic champion. However, I think that, you can do babyface, heel, triple threats and just make it a little bit more interesting. But I mean, when we look at the fact that, that Naomi has not been booked in ages, that we've not seen Bianca Belair, like there, you could have easily found a surprise NXT legend to return to challenge Rhea Ripley, on that stage. Sasha Banks was already there taking on Io Shirai in a non-title match. Why not Bayley taking on Rhea Ripley? There's. Yeah, I'm glad that Rhea got the win here. We knew that she would, but I don't know. She deserves better.
She does, and hopefully this will be the start of that happening for her. First ever strap match between Dexter Lumis and Roderick Strong.
This was an ass beating.
Ass beating for Dexter Lumis, beating up on Roderick Strong. Really not stellar performances from Undisputed Era these days, except for with the exception of Adam Cole.
I won't say
it's tough to see it, honestly.
So I won't say that the performances are bad. I think that it becomes Adam Cole has been champion for 400 days. Where do we go with him from here? And eventually, we'll talk about this a little bit more when we talk about the main event and our predictions for it. So I'll save my thoughts for then. But great showing by Roderick Strong. Just everything about Dexter Lumis kind of running through Undisputed Era the way that he has. He's another guy I'm all in on right now. That to see Dexter Lumis taking on Keith Lee or Dominik Dijakovic, depending on when he makes his transition to Raw. There's going to be no shortage of competition for these guys. And hell, I'd like to see Dexter Lumis and Thatcher go one-on-one, quite frankly, to just have some brute striking, and they each are proficient in their respective submissions. Let's go. That's definitely a dream match for me anyway.
Doesn't seem like it's too much of a dream. Yeah. I mean, they do wrestle on the same promotion on the same night.
They do.
Singles.
But people have different plans. Just because there are dream matches that we want to see doesn't mean that we always get them.
And then again, we had another women's match. Really to clear out the night was Sasha Banks taking on Io Shirai in a non-title match. Pretty versatile, pretty solid match. I mean, that's what we're seeing in these dream matches. Guys are coming down. They're not coming down. They're coming over to NXT, just stepping across the way. And obviously, everyone being the Performance Center, they're not at different parts of the state or different parts of the new, the West or different things like that in different arenas. They can all be there together. So more opportunities for these matches, even on Wednesday nights, Monday nights, former Tuesday nights, not anymore, Friday nights.
And the thing is, I really enjoyed this match because, it's easy to put together a non-title competition like this between brands. And this is the right way to use the women's tag team division and to see the champs actually going across all three brands, whether it be one-on-one or tag team competition, title match, non-title match, doesn't really matter. I think that they are in their best interest to continue using the women's tag champs in this manner.
And obviously Asuka coming out to really assist Io Shirai, clearly a bond between the Raw Women's Champion and the NXT Women's Champion.
Yeah.
And that's always cool to see. And potentially see that feud build up between other, like, I know that Bayley and Sasha, it's kind of a dicey thing, but I feel like they'd still come through for each other if they absolutely had to.
Yeah, I mean, that was more just to continue to. I mean, we know that Asuka and Sasha are going to go at it for the Raw Women's Championship at Extreme Rules, which explains her presence there Wednesday night. And yeah, it's a good way to bring this one feud across these other shows. That's one cool way of using talent. Like if you're going to put them on other shows, I don't necessarily want. All right, I'm just going to put it this way. WWE, I've been watching for 20 years now. Like, don't think that getting rid of the wild card rule and then bringing it back and saying that only a handful of times a year that performers can go across show to show, and then don't start that shit with Baron Corbin. Okay, that is the quickest way to lose my attention. If they're gonna do something like this where talent is going across all three brands, do it in the way that they used Asuka. It was quick, it was to the point, and it advanced the story that's already being built for a pay-per-view that no one's already going to give two shits about anyway, minus a match or two. So, use that element of surprise. I don't necessarily need to see a Raw versus SmackDown match. Just give me a little bit if it advances a story on another show, just have them show up and have that surprise, holy shit moment, and then keep it moving. Not that hard.
Right on. Absolutely. And that is the entire Great American Bash that we saw.
Night one.
Also, night one. Great American Bash night 2 will be here on Wednesday night. Again, There's only been one match spoiled. So we're not going to spoil anything here. We're only going to give predictions. Yes. Eric, lay out the card for me. Now!
So what we've got so far, Breezango and Drake Maverick taking on Legado del Fantasma, Santos Escobar, Joaquin Wilde, and Raul Mendoza. I think that this is more about Escobar and Maverick fighting over the Cruiserweight Championship. So there's, obviously numbers game, Breezango coming to save the day last week during the Great American Bash, leading to this match. So I think at this point, just to advance that Cruiserweight title feud, Maverick's on the hunt. I mean, he wants his gold back, and they've, managed to use him very well, as crummy as the storyline was, to, lump his firing into everything else that's going on and using it as creative. But I'm going to predict Maverick and Breezango walking away with a win here.
I was also going to say the same thing, because I don't know too
a lot in this feud. I do know Maverick was used in he was fired,
but not fired. I don't really know. That's what they're saying. The Twitter, on the Twitter sphere, and on the Wrestle Talks.
Yeah.
I'm going to say that, and because I like Breezango, Breezango fans still miss the Breezango, man.
Right.
Breezango. But yeah, hit me with another match. That's this Wednesday night, July 8th, Great American Bash.
So we've got Candice LeRae taking on Mia Yim in a street fight. I think that, enough said pretty much for these two. I mean, both of them cut their teeth in PWG, so this is going to be real exciting to see these two go at it. But you have to think that, major win here. They were teasing it a little bit last week. We could potentially see Candice and Johnny team going up against Mia Yim and Swerve Scott over these next few weeks here as well. Swerve's kind of gotten into the mix of this heat between LeRae and Yim. So I'm really excited for this one. Love Candice, and I think that this is gonna be a tough one here. But I think because she did not win last week, Candace gets a real decisive W here in the street fight this week.
Yeah, I was only going to say her purely because she got eliminated so early, despite having such a good, match, that she would deserve to get the win and get a little more,
Sure. Yeah, I mean I am
momentum.
I'm
Like I said earlier,
momentum. I'm loving I'm loving this dynamic with the new Johnny Gargano, the new Candice LeRae. They have become, they went from kind of the sweetheart, the Brad and Jennifer of pro wrestling to like the I don't know, help me out here.
I don't know. Are they not? I mean, I like them.
As far as they went from like this super sweet, like innocent, everybody loves them couple to just, stabbing everybody in the back and kind of,
Brad and Angelina. Did you say Brad and Angelina?
I said Brad and Jennifer, dude. They were the young, good-looking couple, and now they're like all evil and
I like it. I like the evilness. I'm a fan.
I'm a villain at heart.
He still didn't help me find a celebrity comparison, but it's fine. We're gonna keep moving along anyway.
Yeah, no.
Are you ready for the main event?
Yes.
So,
I know what it is. I know.
You do. Do tell. I'll let you have this one.
Well, NXT champion Adam Cole, baby,
is facing off against the monster that isn't the monster among men, Keith Lee, the North American champion.
I think you mean the Limitless.
The Limitless, Keith Lee. Will be facing in a title for title match.
Winner take all.
Title for title. So, I personally don't think that this one will end with either one of them losing their title. I think the Undisputed Era will get involved, and it'll be a disqualification. So that's my prediction. I don't think either guy loses their title because I don't think you should have Keith Lee lose, and I don't think you should have Adam Cole lose. Either one of them lose their championships. But it'll be a great match, but it will not end cleanly because it won't end technically. At least it won't. It won't be like that forevering match where, who was it? Who was it? Sami Zayn or somebody is still in the Royal Rumble match from like 2017, I think. He never got technically eliminated.
Well,
who was that
Curtis
again?
Axel, but
Curtis Axel never was eliminated.
He's still
in
that Royal match. I was like 2014, 2013.
I think Curtis Axel was part of the Black Wednesday releases, wasn't he?
Still, he should be in the Royal Rumble right now. He should be able to enter and he never exited. Okay. Anyways, I'm beyond my point. Yes, I think that they both will keep their titles. That's my prediction.
Yeah, so unfortunately, Curtis Axel was released during Black Wednesday, so I think it's safe to say that he has been eliminated from the Royal Rumble contractually.
What was that again?
I don't remember.
Oh, well.
You're the Royal Rumble expert.
Yeah, that's very deep. I think it's 2012, 2013, something like that. But that's...
Anyway, we're getting off track here. Monster main event here. But I think that you, sir, are dead wrong.
Okay, that's fine. Finally, we disagree. I like it.
I know. Well, you're the one that's agreeing with me, so I'm flattered, but also stop it. So, look, I have enjoyed everything that Undisputed Era has done over the last 3 years. They have come in and have not only made the case for, I think, the greatest faction in NXT history, and this is, the same NXT that had the Wyatt family and the Shield, but Adam Cole is the greatest NXT champion of all time, hands down. There's not much left for these guys to do. They're already one man down with Kyle O'Reilly still in Canada right now, because Rona. But it just seems like they've kind of run on fumes, and it's taken them a long time to get to that point, because I think the closest comparison that I can make as far as a stable in wrestling history is NWO. because they came in. There were these 3 guys that just came in and dominated, destroyed, and it was just about hell-bent on destruction and taking championships and conquering. NWO watered itself down. Undisputed Era adds Roddy Strong. They're better than ever, and that was, some people say that should have been the original incarnation in the first place. All that matters is that we're here now. But there's not a lot left for these guys to do in NXT. And we know that, Cole has most likely, re-upped his contract, so he's not going anywhere anytime soon. It's time to give these guys some new competition. And if you're not going to sign talent, then you've either got to bring people over from Raw or bring people over from SmackDown, or give these guys a chance to go work those shows too. That is the beauty of having everything in the Performance Center right now, is that you can start to do a little bit of this fantasy warfare here to make things a little bit more exciting. And to see Adam Cole take on Keith Lee, it's going to be a hell of a match, don't get me wrong, but I think that in this day and age, as we look at race relations, and everybody has kind of is looking at race in wrestling, there is no better time than to go out on a limb and put a championship on somebody like Keith Lee than it is right now. It is the absolute perfect time to do it. Given not only the, speaking out as far as racism, but even as Keith Lee has told his story, his own speaking out story, I just think that there's no better ambassador for NXT right now than Keith Lee. He's a monster babyface right now, and there's no shortage of people that he can work with. But Adam Cole has worked with everybody and their mother at this point. Mm-hmm. Send them to one of these shows and let them go do something different. But I think that, I think that Keith Lee wins this one here. I think it's his time, and for everybody out there that does not know, so a Performance Center talent did leak a photo on Instagram of the winner of this match. I don't know who the winner is. I don't know if you do. I don't enjoy spoilers, and I want to see how this plays out live, especially just kind of given the fact that it's winner take all. But in response to that, WWE has said that that 2 separate endings have been filmed for this match. So we'll see if that means, something wonky like you're predicting, or if it's this guy right here and the Limitless one getting his just desserts.
Hell yeah, man. And I know we want to talk here briefly before we let everyone go on just some
final little news and notes here.
Little nuggets here. We found out Sarah Logan is pregnant.
Yes.
We've learned that Mysterio is working without a contract right now because they don't feel comfortable just signing any new people, but they don't obviously want to release him. They got SummerSlam moved to the Performance Center.
That shouldn't have surprised any. I mean, that they shouldn't have surprised anybody here with this one. It's still dangerous right now, plain and simple.
Potentially more positive COVID cases in WWE that we're unaware of. We don't know no exact amount. It seems like the actual government not giving us an actual amount. We don't know what actually is going on down there at the WWE. We'll find out soon enough, I'm sure. Again.
Yeah, so it's been a hell of a week in wrestling, bud, and night 2 of Fyter Fest and Great American Bash, Fight for the Fallen, next week as well. Thank you so much for tuning in. Remember, Anchor, Spotify, Apple Music. Subscribe on YouTube. Follow us on Facebook. Like us. Subscribe. Love us. Yeah, we like to talk wrestling. I think that we're pretty cool guys, and I think we got a lot to say. Well, okay, I'm awesome. Him, not so much. He didn't deny it. Anyway, that's all we got for this week, man. Any final takes?
I'm cooler. Because my temperature's set to like 68 degrees, and it's hot as hell out here these days, bro. Yeah. Thanks for listening.
Well, it's going to be hard to top that. So for Eric Ozio, I'm Eric Robinson. We'll see you guys next week.
Hey, everyone. Thanks so much for listening to this episode of the Eric Squared Circle Show. If you liked what you heard, take a quick second to leave us a review, and if it's a 5-star, we'll read it on the air. We really want to hear from you guys, so if you have a question, trivia, interview ideas, or any other suggestions, we want to hear them. Shoot us an email at ericsquaredcircle@gmail.com. And don't forget, you guys are the reason that we do this show. It's the ultimate show by Smarks for Smarks, so what's not to love? Let's keep the discussion going on Twitter using the hashtag E2SC and join our server on Discord. Last but not least, subscribe to our YouTube channel and make sure you turn on notifications because you'd be crazy to miss anything it is that we're doing right now.